just wish he knew. I just wish he knew.
Well, well, well. Back again. Who knew? I did. I don't know if everybody else did, but I did. Shit. Hope everybody's doing well this evening, as we are going to continue Rome's civil wars, Caesar's War, and the War of Actium, in combination, because they're both fantastic stories. So, welcome in. Have a little bit of a surprise today. I think we can get by with it. We're gonna test it. We're gonna see. I'm gonna see if it works. If not, well, fuck. Ain't it a bitch? Ain't it a bitch? Give me just 1 second while I set all this up. All right. First and foremost, we're going to be starting with Spain, then making our way into the Macedonian campaign, then Egypt, war against Pharnaces, and a brief return to Rome before the African campaign, where we'll wrap up for the evening before the next episode, where we get into the second Spain campaign, leading up to the end, where we all know Brutus Assholius Maximus decides to take Caesar's life, and Bedicius 1000us on the Thronicus of douchebaginess. Damn. Et tu, Brute? Et tu. Et tu, mother... Let's get started, shall we? Let's get started. Let's move this thing right on over to this. We're gonna show some Caesar action. Bam! Fantastic. Following this setback, taking advantage of Pompey's escape to the east, Caesar marched west to Hispania. While in Italy, he assembled a meeting of the Rump Senate. On the 1st of April, the turnout was poor. There, Caesar repeated his grievances and requested senatorial envoys to be set to negotiate with Pompey. Though the motion was passed, nobody volunteered. A meeting of the Concilium Plebis also was called. All through, Caesar promised every citizen a gift of 300 sestertii and a guarantee of the grain supply. The reception was muted. One of the tribunes, Lucius Caecilius Metellus. I'm telling you, the names are just second to none. The Roman Empire had the best names. Interposed his veto against Caesar's attempts to raid the state treasury. Caesar threatened Metellus' life until he gave way. Some scholars view the episode as showing the disingenuousness of Caesar's championing of tribunician rights at the start of the Civil War. The raid captured some 15,000 gold bars, 30,000 silver bars, and 30 million sestertii. The episode was sufficiently embarrassing that it was omitted from Caesar's commentaries on the Civil War. Oh man. Leaving Mark Antony, this fellow right here, in charge of Italy, and Praetor Lepidus in Rome, Caesar set out west for Spain, resentful for embarrassing episodes before the Senate and Metellus. En route, he started a siege of Massilia when the city barred him entry and came under the command of the aforementioned Domitius Ahenobarbus. Leaving a besieged force, Caesar continued to Spain with a small bodyguard and 900 German auxiliary cavalry. He arrived in June 49 at Alerdia. He defeated a Pompeian army under the legates Lucius Afarnius and Marcus Petreius, Pompey's remaining legate in Spain, or legate. Legate in Spain. Hey, Shane! Oh shit, you got some super red going on tonight. Do I really? Oh, well. It's probably because the pictures are dark. When the computer screen brightens up, like here, let me do this. Put on something like... No? Still super red? Ah, interesting. Alright, cool. Well, that's not a picture for right now. That's for later. That was for later. It's not that time yet. We'll get there. We will get there. Calm down. Picture viewer. You just need to calm down. I picked the wrong picture. Ha ha! Ah. Marcus Terentius Varro surrendered shortly thereafter, putting all of Spain under Caesar's control. Yes. Under Caesar's control, all of Spain. Concurrent to Caesar's invasion of Spain, he sent his lieutenant Curio to invade Sicily and Africa, assisted by Gaius Caninius Rebellius. What a badass name. Caninius Rebellius. It's like a cannon rebellion. Just in his name. Where his forces were decisively defeated at the Battle of the Bagradus River in 49 BC, Curio was killed in battle. No, not Curio. Curio was slain in battle. Hey, Bricky. What's going on? How you doing? I mean, if it's looking like you bathed in your enemy's blood when discussing Romans, yo, Bricky. Yes, exactly. Exactly all of it. Oh, just wait, Shane. Just wait. I'm waiting to see if I get age restricted for what's about to happen. Just give it a second. Wait until we get into some of the more bloody shit. Just wait a second. Returning to Rome in December 49 BC, Caesar left Quintus Cassius Longinus. I'm going to read that again. Quintus Cassius Longinus. The fucking names, man. I'm telling you. In command of Spain, and had Praetor Marcus Aemilius Lepidus appoint him dictator. As dictator, he conducted elections for the consulship of 48 BC before using the dictatorial powers to pass laws recalling the exiled those condemned by Pompey's courts in 52 BC, accepting Titus Aninius Milo, and restoring the political rights of the children of victims of the Sullan proscriptions. Holding the dictatorship would have been the only way to avoid giving up his imperium, legions, provincia, and right to triumph while within the pomerium. Standing in the same elections he conducted, he won a second term as consul with Publius Servilius Vatia Issacarus, Isauricus, as his colleague. He resigned the dictatorship after 11 days. Caesar then renewed his pursuit of Pompey across the Adriatic. Cassius Longinus almost sounds like an ancient stripper name, right, dude? Guy was a fucking Roman Chippendale. Damien, the voice is encapsulating me. Well, it's my normal voice. I'm just projecting a little bit more than I normally would if I was just talking normally. See, this is my normal voice. It's just me being loud instead of me being quiet. Why? Because it's just easier to read that way. And plus, I'm a loud motherfucker. You're not the only loud person that exists, Brick. I exist too, and I'm loud as fuck. That's why I'm not necessarily the best ninja, but I am certainly a ninja. Macedonian campaign. Arriving at Brundisium. Caesar did not have enough transports to sail his entire force, meaning that multiple voyages across the Adriatic would be needed. This was complicated by a Pompeian fleet stationed in the eastern side of the Adriatic under the command of Marcus Calpurnius Bibulus. Alright, that's a pretty badass name too. Marcus Calpurnius Bibulus. Sailing on the 4th of January 48 BC. In reality, due to drift from the Roman calendar, late autumn, Caesar took Pompeians by surprise. Yes, he did. Caesar took the Pompeians by surprise. Damn it. Where was I at? Fuck. With Pompey's troops dispersed to winter quarters and Bibulus' fleet not ready, Bibulus' fleet, however, quickly sprung into action and captured some of Caesar's transports as they returned to Brundisium, leaving Caesar stranded with some 7 legions and little food. Caesar then pushed to Apollonia with little local resistance, allowing him to secure a base and some food stores. Seeing that the main Pompeian supply was a base at Dyrrachium, Caesar advanced on it, but withdrew when Pompey arrived first with superior forces. These names sound very innuendo, don't they? You know what else took the Pompeians by surprise? Pyroclastic flows. Yes. Yes. I fucking love this chat. You guys are amazing. After a hard day, I swear to God, it is very refreshing to come stream and just have a couple of people like Brick and Shane in my chat. Like, that's just the best. I couldn't be more fucking blessed. After receiving the reminder of his army from Italy under Mark Antony until the 10th of April, Caesar advanced against Dyrrachium again, leading to the Battle of Dyrrachium. After attempting circumvallation of the Pompeian defenders, Caesar attempted to capture the vital Pompeian logistics hub of Dyrrachium, but was unsuccessful after Pompey occupied it and the surrounding heights. In response, Caesar besieged Pompey's camp and constructed a circumvallation thereof until, after months of skirmishes, Pompey was able to break through Caesar's fortified lines and force Caesar into a strategic withdrawal for Thessaly. That volcano as well? Yeah. Yeah. After the victory, seeking to spare Italy from invasion, prevent Caesar from defeating in detail Scipio Nasica's forces arriving from Syria, and under pressure from his overconfident allies who accused him of prolonging the war to extend his command, Pompey sought to engage Caesar in a decisive battle. After meeting up with Scipio Nasica's Syrian reinforcements, Pompey led his forces after Caesar in early August, seeking favorable ground for a battle. After several days of cavalry skirmishes, Caesar was able to lure Pompey off a hill and force a battle on the plain of Pharsalus. During the battle, a flanking maneuver led by Labienus failed against the reserve line of Caesar's troops, leading to the collapse of the Pompeian infantry against Caesar's veterans. Shortly after the battle, and sometime in October, Caesar was named dictator for the second time for an entire year. This dude's a legend. Another strategicus retreatus. Yes. Pompey, despairing of defeat, fled. There it is. There it is. There's the strategicus retreatus. Ha ha. Ah. Pussius Maximus, Itellus Uus. Shane, stop being the funniest. Oh my god. The legends. Fled with his advisors overseas to the Mytilene and thence to Cilicia, where he held a council of war. At the same time, Cato. Oh, we know Cato. We have a picture of Cato somewhere around here. Do we not? We have a picture of Cato. Cato! Haha, this guy. Cato. At the same time, Cato's supporters regrouped at Corcyra and went thence to Libya. Others, including Marcus Janius Brutus, sought Caesar's pardon. Yeah, you bastard, you sought Caesar's pardon, Brutus, you fuck. Traveling over marshlands to Larissa, where he was then welcomed graciously by Caesar in his camp. Pompey's council of war decided to flee to Egypt, which had in the previous year supplied him with military aid. 9. Cato, the least hilarious of all the Roman names, right? Right? It's just almost the Spanish word for cat. It's almost Spanish for cat. If it was gato, it would be twice as funny. But it's not gato, it's Cato. Fucking noob. Although, what he did for O.J. Simpsonicus was pretty right? When Pompey arrived in Egypt, he was greeted by a welcoming delegation made up of several Egyptians and 2 Roman officers who had served with him years before. Shortly after boarding their boat, well, wouldn't you know it, he was fucking murked, buddy. Shortly after boarding their boat, he was murdered in sight of his wife and friends on the deck. Yes, he was most certainly dealt with in a very unfortunate way. I'm trying to find the other picture, too. I think I have another picture of this, right? Somewhere around here. It's fucking somewhere. There it is. The color one. There we go. Caesar pursued vigorously as Pompey's skill and client networks made him the largest threat, traveling to Asia and then to Cyprus and Egypt. He arrived 3 days after Pompey's murder. There he was presented with the head of Pompey along with his signet ring. Caesar wept when he saw the ring and recoiled from the head. His disgust and sorrow may well have been genuine, for from the beginning he had taken great pride in his clemency. Ah, yes, Caesar, the clemency master. Note the missing head, an obvious sign of death. Yes. Also, not a war crime. According to Caesar, it was, though. Right? According to Caesar, it was. Egypt, by this time, had been embroiled in repeated civil wars, also frequently arbitrated by Rome. Helped in part due to the massive bribes Egyptian monarchs gave Roman leaders, which eroded the realm's independence. While in Egypt, Caesar started to get involved in a dynastic dispute between Ptolemy. Yes, Ptolemy. No, I'm not going to silence the P. It's Ptolemy. Ptolemy. With his big old bug eyes and his fucking nose taking up 30% of the Earth's oxygen. His little... What is that? Fucking banana curls. Ptolemy the 13th. And, wouldn't you know it, Cleopatra. We all know Cleopatra, who, in the will registered in Rome of the last Egyptian king, Ptolemy the 12th, Auletus, had been made co-rulers. So Ptolemy the 13th and Cleopatra are co-rulers. By 48 BC, relations between the two co-rulers had broken down, with the two shadowing each other with armies on opposite sides of the Nile. See, Damien, my friend, I'm telling you, you would be fucking brilliant in some of the British lives I go in. You're their worst nightmare. Educated, funny, no feelings, and bend the knee to nobody but him upstairs. Damn right, Brick. You're goddamn right. I'm telling you. I'm fucking telling you. Caesar demanded 10 million denarii payment of large debt promised to him by the previous king, a demand almost certainly motivated by the massive financial commitments needed to pay his troops. He also declared that he would arbitrate the succession dispute between Ptolemy the 13th and Cleopatra. He's trying to pull a Trump over here. He's like, yeah, I'll calm you guys down. Now that I've dealt with Pompey, I'm coming to calm this shit down. Y'all need to settle it and pay me my money. Ha! The legend. In response, Pothinus, Ptolemy the 13th's eunuch regent, apparently summoned an army to the city and besieged Caesar's occupation of the royal quarter. Caesar summoned reinforcements from Roman Asia. And there was a war. Oh. No, I'm just kidding. That's Romans versus Romans. I don't think I have a picture of them sieging Egypt. Could be wrong. I have a picture of Alexandria, though, don't I? Yes, I do. Bam! There it is. While under siege in Alexandria, Caesar met Cleopatra and became her lover when he secreted himself into the royal quarter. Around this time, Caesar also produced his decision on the dynastic dispute. The will's terms were clear and both would have to be co-rulers. Ptolemy the 13th, impressed, probably already aware of Caesar's and Cleopatra's relationship, after some months of siege, Caesar's forces were relieved by forces under Mithridates of Pergamum from Syria, bringing the Egyptians to battle with Caesar's forces, where the Egyptians were utterly routed. Ptolemy the 13th fled, but drowned when his boat capsized. Allegedly he wasn't attacked by his own people and thrown overboard. Because there's that too. That's one of the accounts. Yo, Chris Lestrange, welcome in. How you doing? Didn't Cleopatra rule as a man? So gender shit's been going on a while then. Yeah, it has been. It's not a new thing, Brick. I pointed that out in one of my other earlier episodes. It's not a new thing. Like, fuck, man. People been, degen since the dawn of time. I think it's been a mission for humanity to fight, like, the degen shit and quell that shit as much as humanly possible since the dawn of time. Right? I think that's been one goal of humanity as a whole, is just to, like, end the degen shit. Alas, it continues, and in today's day and age, it runs rampant. This is why we need a strong totalitarian dictator. Like Andrew Wilson. Oh. Ah, shit. Anyways, what's up, Chris? After the victory, Caesar gave the Roman province of Cyprus to Egypt, likely secured payment for his financial demand, and invested Cleopatra, along with new co-ruler Ptolemy the 14th, Philopator, Cleopatra's younger brother, with rule of Egypt. While Caesar's Alexandrian War implies he left Egypt forthwith, he actually stayed for some 3 months, cruising with Cleopatra along the Nile, mostly to rest and perhaps also to make clear Rome's support for Cleopatra's new regime. Whatever, come on, let's be real, we all know he was getting nasty with it. We know what he was doing. He was getting some of that ass, that's what he was doing. News of a crisis in Asia persuaded Caesar to leave Egypt. He's like, babe, got some shit I gotta do. I'll be back to clap them cheeks another day. Shit. News of a crisis in Asia persuaded Caesar to leave Egypt in the middle of 47 BC, at which time sources suggest Cleopatra was already pregnant. He left behind 3 legions under the command of a son of one of his freedmen to secure Cleopatra's rule. Cleopatra likely bore a child, which she called Ptolemy Caesar, and which the Alexandrians called Caesarion. It's the way it's spelled. I'm not going to read it any other way. If it's spelled relatively Spanish-looking, I'm going to read it Spanish-looking. In late June, Caesar believed that the child was his, as he allowed the use of his name. You see what? Listen, there's evidence right there for everybody who has ever argued why men go after virgins is because of, like, the whole knowing that it's your child thing. Let's be real. Cleopatra was like the OG fucking thought. She was running around. She wasn't in, like, she was promiscuous. We'll be nice. She was promiscuous. It was actually a sign of society collapsing for what history has told us. Yeah, exactly. Prefer the old school women. The ones without dicks. Yeah, seriously. Seriously. But seriously though, think about this. Cleopatra was kind of a 304. She was doing the thing. So Caesar had no real guarantee that that was actually his bloodline. There's a major example right there. Just a live example. So anybody who ever uses an argument or that specific argument in the future, I just gave you, like, the biggest example in history. Caesar and Cleopatra. Like, Caesar doesn't even know it was his own kid. He had to believe it was such. He didn't know it was true. She belonged to the street. She did. Yes, she did. Yes, she did. Aware of the Civil War, Pharnaces II. I think I have a picture of this dude, Pharnaces II. There it is. Another guy with a nose taking up 3/4 of the Earth's oxygen. Telling you, this dude's eyes are sunken way back, too. Damn, dude, looking like a fucking reptile. Is Medusa's child? Desired to reclaim his father's lands during the lost Third Mithridatic War, and promptly invaded large parts of Cappadocia, Armenia, Eastern Pontus, and Lesser Colchis. Roman sources paint him cruelly, ordering the castration of any captured Romans. Dang. These attacks were uncontested after Pompey stripped the east for troops until Caesar's legate Gnaeus Domitius Calvinus. Yep, Caesar's legate. I don't know if the G is silent. It might just be Gnaeus Domitius Calvinus, which is still pretty badass either way. Fought him unsuccessfully near Nicopolis in December 48 BC with an inexperienced force. Caesar moved from Egypt north along the eastern Mediterranean coast, moving directly for Pharnaces' invasion, seeking to protect his prestige, which would suffer substantially if a foreign invasion were to go unpunished. The boy was frustrated. He had to get the job done. Went in there, he was like, "Ugh, I'm coming for you." Can't figure out why Romans would paint him in a bad light. Seriously! Last words need to be said in very high-pitched voice. Yeah? Let's see here. Where are we going? Where are we going with this? Pharnaces' invasion, seeking to protect his prestige, would... Yeah, I already read that. Pharnaces attempted to treat Caesar, who had rejected all negotiations, reminding him of his treatment of Roman prisoners. Caesar demanded him to withdraw immediately from all occupied territories, return their spoils, and release all prisoners, or suffer the consequences. What consequences? These consequences. When Romans arrived near the hilltop town of Zela, Pharnaces launched an all-out attack as Romans were entrenching. The attack caused confusion among Caesar's forces, but they quickly recovered and drove Pharnaces' forces down the hill. After a breakthrough on the Saurian right, Pharnaces' army routed. He fled back to his kingdom, but was promptly assassinated. The whole campaign had taken just a few weeks. Caesar's victory was so swift that in a letter to the friend in Rome, he quipped, "Veni, vidi, vici." I came, I saw, I conquered. The tag repeated on placards carried in his Pontic triumph. He also mocked Pompey for making his name fighting such weak enemies. Damn it. He's like, Pompey, come on, man. These are who you are fighting? I'm out there destroying Gaul, and this is what you're dealing with? Please. Ah. At Rome, however, during these Egyptian and Pontic campaigns, at Rome, you mean, oh wait, maybe not. I would have said in Rome. That would have been what I said. In Rome. Rome. Dun 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 dun. It's fucking Rome. At Rome, however, during these Egyptian and Pontic campaigns, politics continued. Publius Cornelius Dolabella was serving as one of the tribunes for 47 BC. During his term, he proposed the abolition of all debts and a rent holiday. This led to Antony, who was serving as Caesar's Magister Equitum in the dictatorship, to intervene against the proposals. When Antony had left for Campania to deal with the mutiny in Caesar's 9th and 10th legions, domestic violence again flared up in Rome, leading to the Senate to invoke the Senatus Consultum Ultimum. There it is again, the Senatus Consultum Ultimum. What a badass name. For a congregation. That's basically what that is. But the lack of any magistrates with imperium present meant that nobody was able to enforce it. Only after some time did Antony return, restoring order with serious loss of life, dealing a serious blow to his popularity. Dang, he lost a battle to his own troops. I mean, kinda, right? They're fighting each other. Fool lost. I mean, I can understand a lot of kinks out there, but like snipping off the balls, that's taking ball stomping to an unmatched level. Dude, I'm telling you. I am telling you. You don't clip the buddies. That is a war crime, Shane. Yeah, I will take that one. That's a war crime. We'll point that one out. You clip the buddies and then, yep, that's a war crime. That is what that is. Most certainly a war crime. Snipping the buddies, not a cool. Not fucking cool. At the same time, Cato Iron Face. Oops. Iron Face. I said oops. At the same time, Cato led his forces from Cyrenaica. Or wait, how the hell do I read that? Cyrenaica. I'm going to go ahead and guess across the desert to Africa, modern day Tunisia. Why couldn't you just say fucking Tunisia? Linking up with Metellus Scipio. They, along with Labienus, induced a defection of one of Caesar's governors to Hispania Ulterior. Caesar returned to Italy and Rome late in 47 BC, meeting and pardoning Cicero, who had given up hope in Pompeian victory after Pompey's death at Brundisium. Yes, after Pompey's death. But with Caesar back in Rome, everybody was happy. Upon his return, he made it clear that his confidence in Antony, but surprisingly not Dolabella, had been lost. Caesar elected suffect magistrates for the 47th and magistrates for the new year 46 BC. He packed his men into the priestly colleges and the suffect magistrates, expanding the number of praetors from 8 to 10 to reward them for their loyalty. So he basically gave them positions in government. Huge L. That's not what you do to reward people for loyalty, is give them positions of power. That's not. That always comes back to bite you in the ass, doesn't it? Every time. When you look throughout history, what happens? You give a bunch of people power and it goes to their head. And they turn on the dude in charge. And they fuck all kinds of shit up. For himself, he declined to continue the dictatorship, instead taking the consulship with Lepidus as his colleague. The mutineers in Campania were not claimed by Caesar's return. Caesar sent one of his lieutenants, the future historian Gaius Sallustius Crispus, also appointed praetor for 46 BC, to parley with the men, but Sallust was almost killed by a mob. Caesar then went in person to the troops, who were then nearing Rome under arms. He granted them immediate discharges, gave promises that they would receive their land and retirement bonuses, and addressed them as citizens. His men, shocked by their casual dismissal, begged Caesar to take them back into service. Feigning reluctance, he allowed himself to be persuaded, and made notes to put mutiny's leaders in exposed and dangerous positions in the upcoming campaign. While in Italy, he also confiscated and sold at market price the property of Pompey and opponents now dead or still unpardoned, before also borrowing more funds. Gotta do what you gotta do, right? Shit. He handled Dolabella's proposed debt cancellation proposals by declining to take them up, arguing his large debts would have made him the chief beneficiary of such plan. The decision to sell confiscated properties at market price disappointed some of Caesar's allies, but also indicated his dire financial straits. Damn it. Moving on to Africa, Caesar ordered his men to gather in Lilybaeum on Sicily in late December. He planned a minor member of Scipio family, one Scipio Salvito or Salutio, on the staff because of the myth that no Scipio could be defeated in Africa. The evident legends. Let's go. He assembled 6 legions there and set out for Africa on the 25th of December, 47 BC. The transit was disrupted by a storm and strong winds. Only around 3,500 legionaries, 150 cavalry landed with him near the enemy port of Hadrumetum. I'm guessing that's how that's pronounced. Apocryphally, when landing, Caesar fell onto the beach but was able to successfully laugh the bad omen off when he grabbed 2 handfuls of sand, declaring, "I have hold of you, Africa." The legend. Let's go. At the start of the campaign, Caesar's forces were greatly outnumbered. Go back to the animated moving stuff while I read. Metellus Scipio led a force of 10 legions, likely under strength like Caesar's legions, a large contingent of allied cavalry under King Juba I of Numidia, who also led some 120 war elephants. With the benefit of surprise, Caesar had the time needed to find and recognize his scattered forces, also sending orders to Sicily to return with reinforcements. As the Pompeians had already acquired most of the available food supplies, Caesar was forced to move quickly. He bypassed Hadrumentum after it refused to surrender and establish bases at Ruspina, where he led a large foraging party which then engaged in an encounter battle forces under Labienus. Caesar's inexperienced troops wavered under the attack of Numidian skirmisher cavalry for most of the day before retreating after a counterattack, resulting in a strategic defeat, as Caesar was prevented from foraging. Low on supplies, Caesar fortified his camp at Ruspina. As Metellus Scipio joined Labienus' forces just 3 miles from Caesar's position, their ally, King Juba, moved to link up as well, but was forced to redeploy west when his kingdom was invaded by his rival Bacchus II of Mauretania, with forces led by Roman mercenary Publius Sitius, who had fled Rome after the collapse of the Second Catilinarian conspiracy. That's hilarious. King Juba's like, "Alright, I'm gonna come help you guys." Bacchus II was like, "Oh yeah? Sick. You're gonna leave? I'll take your shit while you're gone." He's like, "Hey, no." Turns around and runs back. "Oh yeah, war elephants, get him drunk and watch him rampage. Roar. Watch him go nuts." This was a lucky break for Caesar, who had not arranged for it. Scipio's forces suffered from endemic desertion. However, Caesar took a defensive approach until he was reinforced by 2 legions, 800 Gallic cavalrymen, and substantial stores of food, at which point he retook the offensive. After some skirmishing between Caesar and Metellus Scipio over some hills on the outskirts of town and the Pompeian water source at Uzita, Metellus Scipio was reinforced by Juba's allied cavalry and heavy infantry. Following more skirmishing for terrain advantages around Uzita, Caesar's forces were reinforced by the veteran legions, who had mutinied in Campania. Running low on supplies, with little chance of taking Uzita, Caesar decided to march away, seizing some food stores before advancing on and besieging Thapsus. The legend. The freaking legend. Like, let's be honest here. This dude's a champion. Holy shit. By doing so, Caesar forced the Pompeians to form up for battle, with good terrain narrowing the front, limiting Metellus Scipio's numerical advantage. Caesar went to address his men, who spontaneously attacked the opposing lines by taking them by surprise and quickly routing them. Plutarch, however, reports that Caesar felt an oncoming epileptic fit and was taken to rest, leading to the confused attack. Really? Huh. Didn't know he was epileptic. It's interesting. Either way, Metellus Scipio's forces were routed, with overwhelmingly unequal casualties, some 10,000 dead Pompeians for around 50 casualties. Dang! Oh my, talk about one-sided. Holy shit. It was too good. That's why they killed him. Yeah, serious. Metellus Scipio and the rest of the Pompeian leadership was able, however, to escape, though most would end up dead in weeks, either from suicide or execution following the capture. Metellus Scipio attempted to escape by sea, but killed himself while intercepted by Caesarian ships. Juba and a Pompeian officer named Marcus Petreius arranged a suicide pact by single combat. Labienus was able to escape, making his way to Spain, where he joined Gnaeus and Sextus. During the campaign before Thapsus, Cato the Younger held the city of Utica and was absent at the battle. When he was informed of the defeat, he consulted with the soldiers, who outnumbered 300 and were hopelessly outnumbered. After dinner, Cato took his sword and stabbed himself in the stomach. Good old Iron Face stabbed himself in the stomach. Damn it. At the noise, a doctor was summoned, but Cato ripped the stitches open and began ripping out his own entrails, dying before anyone could stop him. What the hell? Hey, Sport Brand, let's go! That seems embellished, but I don't doubt the Romans suffered from minor losses compared to the Pompeians. Yeah, no, that seems way embellished. I would go ahead and get... I mean... It really depends. Because evidently the Pompeians were chilling most of the time while Caesar's troops were in Gaul. Like, most of his battle-hardened troops were in Gaul. Like, they still hadn't gotten their leave to, like, retire yet. So they're still fighting for him. You've got, like, dudes that are just war-hardened over, like, 20 years. Fighting against dudes that have just been chilling in Italy and Sicily and fucking Greece and Egypt, right? They're just hanging out. So you never know. They could actually be accurate. That would be pretty fucked if they were. I'm not gonna lie. But going back to the way Cato ripped the stitches open and began ripping out his own entrails, dying before anyone could stop him. That's a pretty gory way to commit self-deletion. Caesar was disappointed. He would not be able to pardon Cato, who had killed himself primarily out of desire to avoid his enemy's mercy. He then remained in Africa to settle affairs in the region, subjugating communities which had supported Pompey to punitive fines. He also engaged in a brief affair with Eunoe, the wife of King Bogud of Mauretania. In June 46, he left Africa for Rome, stopping in Sardinia and returning to the city near the end of July. Returning to the good old city of Rome in the end of July. Gotta love Rome. Man, we need to bring back the Colosseum. Honestly, I'd fight in that motherfucker. I would just literally I would ditch everything and take up a career as a gladiator, and that's what I would do for the rest of my life. I'm not even kidding. If we had a Colosseum like the Colosseum back in the day, and I'm not necessarily like, oh, throw tigers and shit in there, but a big enough Colosseum to do like chariot battles and jousting and shit like that, let's go. Bring back chariot fights. Bring back jousting. Bring back sword fighting. Or, suited of armor fighting, like fucking medieval status. Bring back all of that shit. Ah, but somebody could die. That's the point. That's the point. You want to talk about the real blood sport debate? Oh. Shit. Man. Well, if we're going to talk about the real blood sport debate, it would be debating with a weapon instead of words. I'm just messing around. But it is a blood sport, the Coliseum. Let's be real. You know? Man, we all love Rome. Next time, we're gonna go through the second Spanish campaign all the way up until the end, where the unfortunate damn senators, along with Brutus, decide to do their thing. Their unfortunate thing. Stinky bastards. Made one of the worst mistakes in history. You know, it almost seems like that happens every time. Every fucking time. Every time there's gonna be a good guy in history. Nope. No more. Either the dude gets buried in the shadows and left for fucking whatever else, looking at you, Nikola Tesla. Just got shafted. Left to your own devices and kinda shunned out of society, even though you were kind of a loner anyways, but even still. Man. It's unfortunate. Just saying. You may have the force. Right? You may have the monopoly on force. Sometimes that's not necessarily what gives you the power. Right? In a decaying society where there's all sorts of vacuums for power, there's a whole bunch of degen shit going on and everything is in chaos. Money and resources are generally what give you the upper hand. Force doesn't apply. Because if someone can pay your soldiers better than you can and provide for them better than you can, your soldiers will turn on you in a heartbeat. It's just unfortunately the way the world works. Happens all the time. Right, Brutus? Mr. Stabby Stabby. Tesla was all about the vibes? Man. Yeah, he was. He was all about the vibes. You're not wrong. He was indeed all about the vibes. Shit. Man. I am fucking tired, you guys. I'm sure you can hear it in my voice. I'm exhausted. Today was a long and difficult day. So I'm gonna call it kinda early on this one. I know this one's kind of a short stream. It's only an hour, barely. But man, I gotta get some sleep of some kind. Holy shit. So, I appreciate everybody for coming in. You guys are fucking legends. Thanks for all the likes. Thanks for hanging out. Talking about Rome with me. We all love Rome. That's why I decided to do 2 of the Civil Wars back to back. Because fuck it, why not? Who doesn't like talking about Rome? It's got something for everybody. A little bit of drama, a little bit of degen shit. A little bit of coercion, a little bit of psyoping. It's definitely got some war crimes. It's got some power struggles. Some definite hero moments. Some major W's and some major L's. It's got just about everything you could possibly need in a story. I think that's why so many people like to talk about what went on in Rome. While it may not have been the biggest empire in the world that ever existed, it was definitely the most popular. That being said, I'm probably gonna end up leaving you guys here. We've talked about this, and there was only one war crime, and it was the ball snipping. Yeah, you're correct. But that's still the one, right? The one that we all needed was the ball snipping. That's all it takes is one war crime to be able to throw that in there. You just gotta look for the one. Just throwing this out there to any other, like, leaders and shit, you know? Just throwing this out there. If you're gonna go to war, looking at you, Putin, just don't snip anybody's balls, man. It's the last thing you need to do is clip the buddies. It's not good. It's not okay. In fact, that's some LGBTQ shit. Don't do it, dude. Don't do it. No one wants to be forced to be a part of that community. Ha ha! Ah, shit. Anyways, I hope you all have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or night, wherever you're at in the world. Enjoy your time, because it may be limited. Never know what could happen. Never know when could happen. Just know that it could. Knowing that it could can either be very restricting if you allow it to be, or you can let it be freeing and just know that you have the choice to enjoy. Clip the skulls, not the sacks. Yes, exactly. Exactly, Shane. You have the fucking ability to choose to be happy and turn any situation around into your favor. Don't let shit get you down because that makes you dumb. Be happy, be smart. Much love, everybody. And I will see you on the next one, which will be tomorrow night. And there will be 2 streams tomorrow night. I'm just throwing that out there. Tomorrow night there's going to be part 3 of Roman Civil Wars, and then I'm gonna do like an aviation kind of stream after that. I'm gonna shut that one down and start up another stream and talk about planes and shit. I got some research to do, so might as well educate the community while I educate myself. Let's fucking go, providing value. Hey, have a good night, Kyle. Didn't even know you were hanging out in the chat, you legend. Dark Zerkov. Fucking champion. I'll catch y'all next time. Have a good one. I am out.
I just wish he knew. just wish he knew.